What is up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day to all out there. And everybody, what is up? I, Sugar, wanted to go live for myself and do a badass set. Wanted to do a pretty cool set. So we're going to do rainbow acrylic nails with these. So we have glitters, and then we have the glows, because I kind of want every rainbow or every nail to be a rainbow. So, but they're going to be different rainbows. So we're going to marble every single nail. This entire nail set's going to be nothing but marbled rainbow, and then we'll add some glitters like throughout it, a little bit of white. It's all going to glow, but being is that it's Mother's Day, I figured, why not, right? Why freaking not? I want to do this, so let's hang out and create some acrylic nails, shall we? It's a little bit crazy, kind of chaotic, but yeah, so those are what we are going to be using. Every single color: pink, blue, purple, orange, yellow, green, in glow-in-the-dark, and then we have all the glitters in the same colors. So I'm going to set those over there, because we're going to put the nails on. I already took my other nails off, as you can see. Excuse me. And so I'm going to set you up here, and then we're going to get started. How's everybody doing? Make sure, come chat. Okay? Come chat. Alright. I'm going to use my little lampy lamp, and we're going to do this together. I'm going to put my nails on. I am using the Eclipse Nails. This is the Extreme Stiletto. So that's what we're going to be using today, and I want to try it. I did put my peel-off base on, which is just my top coat, but I did something different because we're using half cover and not full cover. So I took base coat, I buffed the surface of the top coat so it wasn't shiny, and then I added a layer of base coat, and then took the tacky layer off, in hopes that the acrylic will stick to my actual nail. So shout out to everybody in here. If you love nails, stick around, okay? We're going to be doing some crazy, crazy rainbow nails. As if you don't know, now you know. Hi! And I would like to welcome Miss Christina here in the chat. Nighttime Nail Therapy to the Peep Squad. Welcome aboard, my lovely. I hope you love it, her. So this is what we got going on for us. So typically I put it on with top coat, but I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna do it with base coat. So hopefully it works. And I'm wondering if I do a primer and make it sticky, if it'll make a difference. I'm not really sure. We're just gonna try it. How about that? And the primer is Pro Bond from Nailmate from Glitter Planet. And I'm just gonna put it right here. Just gonna put it on the edge where the tip's going. Or should I do the whole nail? I don't know. Gel sticks to gel, but I thought I don't know. We're just going with it at this point. Hi! Who you telling to hush? I'm not gonna hush. Who comes into a live telling somebody to hush? You're in my live, dude. Whoever you are. We ain't trying to be rude here. Come on now. No. I don't sell anything. I just do nails. That's all I do. I just do nails. I do long nails, super long nails, crazy nails, all kinds of nails. And I wanted to go live and do a rainbow set. A marble rainbow set at that. Just because. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. No, I don't. Stop asking. Thanks. Alright, so I put that primer on, but we'll see if it works. And you can also take the inside of your tip and use your e-file to file the inside of that if you would like. I don't do that. We're just going to put it on with some base coat and see what happens. Yeah, that's right. Is it Michelle? And I am using the, I couldn't find my actual nail glue, my Zule's nail glue. So I have to use base coat. I usually use top coat, but we're going to try base coat today and see what happens. And I'm using my lamp right here as well. So, alright, let's see what this does. Let's see if I can get it straight. You see what I did with my nail? I broke both sides of it. Alright, we gotta get this. When you're putting this on, it needs to make sure it's good on both sides. So hopefully this works. How are you, Christina? Seems good. Got a little on my thing right there, but it seems rather sturdy. We will have to go in and file these, but we'll be alright. These tips, if you like these tips, they are on Zule's website, Zule's Nail Shop. And you absolutely have to make sure you have enough gel inside of this, but you don't want too much. You just want it to stay in that well. I just put a little bit too much on for whatever reason. Oh no. I don't miss those days. Well, I put her on a tad bit crooked, but it'd be alright. I'll file her one way and she won't be crooked no more. Sometimes that just happens. It's crooked a tiny bit, but yeah, it'll be alright. Thanks for coming to hang with me. How's everybody doing? What up, everybody? We are doing nails today. Acrylic nails with that. I'll be showing you how to marble with multiple colors. Especially, we're going to be doing 6 colors. So, alright, let's hope I don't get this crooked. Sometimes you just don't know. So it's a little bit different. I did take my nails off yesterday, the ones I had on. If you didn't see that live, go check it out. I ended up being in a flower Mother's Day set. So if any comes out the side, make sure you take it off your skin right away, so it is not touching my skin. I love these tips on me. They're just, ugh. They're so pretty. No worries, love. Okay. Cool beans, thank you. Appreciate you. Oh my gosh, today I've just been chilling all day. What about you guys? I literally didn't do anything all day. I mean, I made dinner and stuff, but like, I didn't do diddly squat today. Diddly squat. Alright. Yeah, they're my favorite tips. It's just a lot of the times when I do my peel off method, I really like to use full cover tips because that's your best bet. But we'll see if this, we can keep these on and they don't pop off when I go to file. Ooh, pretty. I love them so much, dude. Like, this, the only place I could find these was on Zuley's. So, I haven't found any, like, I found full cover like this of the Novo Ovo brand on Amazon. However, they're so flat that they actually, I don't know, I can use them, but they kind of end up hurting my hands because they shrink. Has anybody ever had any nail tips shrink before? Yeah. I watched a little bit of like Ghost Adventures with my daughter. We played with the rabbit, fed the rabbit, cleaned the cage, let my cat in there so my cat could get acquainted with it more. The bunny's doing great, actually. He's growing like a weed. It's kind of crazy. Wow. Look at those, y'all. Oh, they're so pretty. I love them. Love them. Now, the only issue I was having was I want to make sure that the acrylic will stick to this, because acrylic will not stick to a shiny surface. Alright, I'm going to go in for a full 60, because they need to cure for a full 60. Yeah, no, some of them will shrink after you put them on. And it's just the way that the nail tips are. And I've been finding lately that a lot of them actually do shrink a lot more than what I thought. If you put them on and then do your stuff, you're better off than if you do it on like a nail stand as a press on and then put it on, because mine always shrink, so they never go on right. You know, if I put them on the nail stand, especially when I use acrylic. Because for some reason that acrylic, like, makes them shrink. But I'm going to show you guys all the colors. I custom made every single one of these colors. So, yeah. Every single color is custom made by moi. Alright. Hi, Jessica. How are you? Thanks for coming, everybody. Alright, so I already pre-shook these. And I'm also going to be using Zuley's clear and her monomer. But I'm only using this when we clear cap. So, and then I pulled out the white that I used the other day that glows too. So let's not open these yet. Alright, so I'm just going to thin this out here on the sides a little bit. We don't typically have to. It depends. These are pretty decent. It's just this one right here is really thick. So I'm going to have to like sand this down a little bit. Yeah. Just did my nose right now and I just got mad and cried. Can you like cheer me up or something? Why'd you get mad? You just have to keep going. That kind of seems weird. Just saying. So we're going to take your 80-100 grit file. And I don't suggest using the 80-80 grit at all on the sides here. You can also use your E-file if you would like, but we're only using it on the tip itself on the sides. We're not using it on our actual nail. I'm just sanding this little corner down. We don't want it to pop out of the acrylic. Hi, Vivian. That as a nail take. Thanks. Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? Now, typically people would use an E-file, but I don't really want to. Because I don't really need to. I can put enough pressure on this because I'm just filing this part down. And you want to focus it more where those corners are, so there's nothing sticking up. If it's still sticking up, keep going until it sands right into your nail. Okay, and you don't have any extra bumps and lumps right here. And then you'll be good to go. And then you want to just kind of buff that surface area as well. That'll help. Hi everybody. I just think they are bomb nails. Like, I absolutely love these tips, and they are Zulace tips. I absolutely love them. Like, I can't get enough of them. We are going to lightly go over these. Now, you don't really need to go over them, but if your monomer will melt the tip, so you don't really have to worry about anything. I like the square stiletto like this. It's my favorite, so I leave them just like that because it looks really, really cool. The only thing is, I'm wondering, I'm probably just gonna buff this whole thing. Now, I did do a pop-off method, and I also put, like, I did my pop-off method, and then I put an extra layer of base coat on. And the reason why I did that was I wanted to see, because these are half cover. If you're doing a full cover, it's different. But I put that primer on, but I'm still just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's sticky enough, so just going to lightly buff that and see what happens. Buffing is going to allow it to adhere to the surface of the nail. You can go over the whole nail tip if you want. I just don't. Now, one thing you want to make sure when you're adding tips on like this, you don't want to add them up at an angle, okay? When you're putting them on, you don't want to add them up like this, because that's not going to help your nails, all right? You need to angle them downward, so when you're pressing inside here, it's actually straight. It's actually adhering to the end of your nail. Okay, when you have it up like that, there's a lot of bubbles, etc. that will come into play. So just keep that in mind. And then you want to be careful filing like the top of this if you have a peel off base on. So all I'm doing is filing this one for whatever reason is a little bit more thicker on that area. I'm not putting a lot of pressure either. How many of you guys like to do nails? So you want it to be flat. Now this one I kind of pointed upward a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of going upward a little bit. So now I have to make the acrylic a little bit more even right here, so that way it gives the full nail a whole straight structure. Hi Lauren, hello. Hi Jess, how are you guys? How's everybody doing today on this fine day? Happy Mother's Day to all of you lovely, amazing mothers out there. Now, a lot of the times I don't typically use my nail drill until after I start buffing and filing. And you don't want to put a lot of pressure on your nails. You want to make sure you can get that acrylic on your nails and then get that nice base down. And we want it to be a good strength of a base. So typically people will put a clear on. Nails from Love, what up? Typically people would put a clear acrylic base on just to help them strengthen the nail a little bit. And it also helps when you have little skinny nails like this too. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to do mine, because we're going to be marbling. So got to do this side real quick. So I'm just going to literally focus this in right here. And I'm not touching my natural nail. I am only touching the tip itself. And I'm actually using the 80 grit to do that, to just file that in really quickly. Because an 80 grit is a lot more nice. Alright. Now you want to just double check everything. Now, with a full cover tip, you don't have to do this, but... Hello, how are you? But you also don't want to file it down too much either. Because you want to keep that, but you also want to make sure it's leveled out and it's one across the nail. So I'm just going to go along this little pathway here. Just to make sure we're getting these corners locked in. Now, if you're not careful, you do what I just did. You see that? That means I was putting too much pressure on where my finger was holding it right here. Put too much pressure there, and so it kind of took off that base layer, but I have 2 layers on, so I'm good to go. Alright. We are done with those. Alright. I'm excited. Alright, one thing you want to do is you want to clean your nails off, though. I'm going to take some alcohol on a lint-free wipe, and we're just going to clean that off. Alright, let that dry, and we're ready to go. So, I'm going to add some of the Young Nails monomer in my jar. We shouldn't even need that much, guys. Because you really don't want to put a lot in there. You want to kind of conserve a little bit. Thank you. Hi, Round Star? I think I said that right. We're using a size 12 brush. Alright. Now, let's get these colors open, shall we? I'm excited. Alright. And I custom made every single one of these colors. And I just really wanted to do a full rainbow set on every, like, a rainbow marble on every nail. Can I ask a silly question? Sure. No questions are silly. What's the point of the gloves? To protect your hands from chemicals or UV? Both. Me, I'm sensitive, and it's just easier for me. Most of my hand, you know what I mean? Only my tips are in the lamp. And then I also, if I get something on my hands, etc., it's only on this and not anything. But the gloves do help. It looks ridiculous, I know, but it does help. I'm telling you. Now, I did use these in my last set. This is the Sparkle Glow. And this is a Flaky Glow Neon. So if you're here for it, let's do this shit, shall we? No question's a dumb question. And typically when you have super pigmented colors, it's a little hard to see. I don't know why that likes to blow it out, but when you have like colors like this, you want to go in, especially if they've been sitting for a while, and you just want to like get that acrylic all mixed together. So just shake it really well, and then a lot of it sits on the edges, so you just want to make sure you're giving your acrylic the best shot possible, if that makes sense. And then we're going to be picking up a couple different beads. We're going to be doing it a couple different kind of ways, if that makes sense. So, which I'm excited for. My yellow, it's so beautiful, you guys. It's my favorite. It's a little bit harder to see. I don't have my flash on. I think that's why. But you don't have to do this for every color, guys. Just do it for any kind of chunky glitters or pigmented colors, because it will help tremendously. Shake before you do it, like really hard, so that way, you know, it all gets shaken around in there. Now, these are all 20-gram pots, and I feel like for somebody like me that's just an artist, like an enthusiast, that makes my own colors, this is enough to last me quite a while, and a pretty good amount of sets as well. Thank you. And we still have to do the other swatching video. How many in here like to do nails? Or should I say, how many people just like to watch nails? Like, this is kind of the boring part of it, but you kind of got to do this to make sure that, you know what I mean? So what we're going to do is we need to make sure that we have all the colors open. So we're going to take and make sure we have the glitters and these colors open at the same time. How do you make your own colors? I custom make them myself with acrylic and glitter and pigment and glow and all kinds of stuff. Savannah, hello. You're a nail tech at 11 years old. Nice. Congrats. That's awesome. I'm not a nail tech and don't want to be one. I just like art. And I do not like doing nails on other people. It's not my forte. But kudos to you. Keep going at it. Alright, so we have our colors. Okay, they're over here, but I want to make sure you guys can see them all. And here are the glitters. Dawn Beck, hi. Ooh, Yorkshire. Hi. How are you? I bought some dip colors on Etsy. I wonder how to make it into acrylic powder. Well, dip and acrylic basically are the same thing, pretty much. However, depending on if they're just solely dip powders, they could be made with just regular acrylic, or they could be made with acrylic that is a dip and acrylic 2-in-1 mix. You just never know. So, I don't know because it's being bought on Etsy, so I couldn't tell you. There we go. However, so this is the pink, and it's really, really pretty. It's got a bunch of different glitters in it. But a lot of the times, the monomer won't work well with those types of powders. So you kind of have to experiment, and you kind of have to just try a bunch of different ones. So it's a little, I don't know, you kind of go through a little bit more money. But if you're wanting it for actual acrylic purposes, I would just buy acrylic powders and not dip. You're moving this much. My garage has 2 floors, so the top floor in the garage would be like my little studio and add blankets and LED lights. Nice. That's cool. Be careful. Definitely don't want any of that curing. Here's the yellow. So all of these, these glitters right here are all neon, but they also have like hollow in them. They have iridescent in them. They have everything you think of in these colors. So this is like a full neon collection I made, I think back in October, maybe? Something like that. But yeah. So a good thing with custom acrylics though, you want to make sure you're using EMA powder and EMA monomer. I added clear acrylic to it and it worked, but took a while to cure. Yes, the main thing with the dips, when you use them with your monomer, depending on what monomer you have, is that it either won't cure or it'll take a very long time for the reaction, the curing process and reaction to fully start. So, and then sometimes some of them never fully cure. But yeah, if you're gonna buy dips like in an actual dip kit and then try to use it as acrylic, I don't suggest that at all, to be honest. But that's just me. Aw, thanks. They have everything in them. I literally put butterflies, hearts, hectagons, square, flakies. I think there's mylar flakies in here. There's hollow in here, iridescent, you name it. Big ones, small ones, square. I kind of put a little bit of everything. I put matte glitters in here as well. So, it's a little bit of everything, guys. Alright. So those are the colors. So when you are marbling, depending on how you want to do it, you want to take everything in small strides. I see so many people that, let me grab my little napkin guy. I see a lot of people that will take a bunch of colors and throw them on and marble them real quick and they're all falling off the nail. I myself don't particularly like that. That's not my style. And I have, the best thing to use also are these white, they're like, they call them, they're not bibs, but they have this like polyurethane on the back, and so nothing can go through the back, so they're perfect for your acrylics, which are my fave. Absolutely love them. So I usually cut them in fours. By cutting them in fours, you're kind of consolidating them, so you don't waste a whole one if you're not using a whole one, you know. So we're just going to cut this right down the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. Just cut it. But I have found that I do like the napkins a little bit more for cleaning my brush. But this is great for actual usage purposes after you get done and you want to clean your brush, etc. It is really good for that, and I absolutely love it. So we're going to have 2. So I'm going to cut this, and then that way we have this, and we can clean our brush really well, and also put it underneath the napkin. I feel like the napkins clean the brush better, but hi, Cola! How are you? Alright, here's the nails, Cola. What you think? So we're also, I have this white, and this white is also glow, but it also has flakies in it too. So we are going to use this. Can you guys see good? Can you guys see alright? Does that look alright? Can you see the colors? Okay, ready? Thanks for coming to hang with me. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sugar. I do everything nails. We do some crazy long nails. I don't really do short nails, to be honest with you. I do a lot of crazy, colorful nails. I love this shape. It's my absolute favorite because it's Mother's Day. I just wanted to do a set for me. So that's what we're going to be doing. So we want to do a rainbow nail, right? So we're going to start with pink. We're going to go, actually we're going to go purple. I'm going to dip into the pink. So it's going to be kind of doubly like that. And you know what I forgot to do? See how cool that looks? It's going to look super cool. One thing that I do is I wet the nail with my monomer. And what this does is the monomer will make your nail and your tip tacky. So let's let that dry and see if it actually makes my nail tacky. It did. Alright, nice. Now we can go with our colors. Alright, we're going to do a big purple one. And we're going to dip into that pink. And you want to make sure it's wet like this. Now you can do more than one. I'm just going to bring it down. And I got too much on the nail. Typically I don't do this, but that was a very dry bead, so we're just going to leave it like that. It is a marble. So we're going to take it, and I'm actually going to flatten this out and down, because when you are working with any type of marble, you want to make sure you're flattening that out so it's not like a super thick marble, if that makes sense. Typically you want your brush to be wet. So let's go in. We have purple, so let's go in with our blue. So you can either take the blue and you can put this on top, wet our brush, go in with our green, and you want to make sure you're bringing it all the way to your edges too. Ooh, that's gonna look cool. So I'm actually gonna pull this over. It looks like it's dripping. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this back up here. It's all about like how you're maneuvering your brush too. And then you want to make sure you're keeping that nice and flat as well. I'll show you a couple different ways on how to do this, because I want this one to kind of look like a layered, colored, like a layered look. So we're going to take a little bit more of this green. Okay, we're going to take our green, get our brush wet again, go into our yellow, put our yellow on there, and we're going to do the same thing. And we want to bring it up over that other color and bring it over. This is going to give us a cool like unicorn layered look, if that makes sense, because that's kind of what I was going for here. So we want to bring this up, but we also want to bring it down. So we kind of want these lines in here, but you also want to bring it to the side. So you're also putting acrylic on the side of that nail and bringing that color over. You just lightly tap it over. And then we're going to flatten that out just a little bit. So we're going to pull this up on that blue. And it doesn't have to be straight. It can be, you know, zigzagged or whatever too. I'm going to take it straight so that way we have that nice like vertical style here. So it almost looks a bit 3D. Okay, this is my favorite thing to do. I love to marble. And you want to, this is a bit different because you're doing like a layered look. So it's going to be a bit thicker, but you want to try and make sure that you are not making this stupid thick. Okay, because you're going to have a hell of a time trying to file these colors. Got it? So we're going to keep going. Okay. Now this one, I may put some of the sparkles in. I'm not sure, but we're going to go again. We're going to take our yellow. Let's put our yellow here. Get our brush wet. We're going to go into our orange. Just like so. Same thing. I'm going to actually let that run a little bit. Alright, same thing. Now let's bring this up a little bit, but we want that like nice line of color. Now, what you don't want is any of that orange coming up into that green. So we're going to take this excess off. Pull this in. And then I'm going to make like a little line. So we still kind of have that line coming up the nail here. So that way it's still that color. Okay, let's bring this orange back over to the center. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly take that excess off. taking that excess off is really going to help with your design and keeping your edges in. So we're going to force that straight and we're going to bring that down. Now, some of it is going to be a little bumpy. It is what it is. It's not a big deal at all. But we're going to try and flatten this. Now, sometimes you can get it underneath the nail. And with these, it's a little bit... how do I even want to say that? I'm going to take this little guy off. Now, once it starts to harden, you can basically take it off the nail if you want, if you don't like it. Because it's still wet. The monomer is going to melt it together. Does that make sense? Ooh, it's going to look so cool. It's definitely going to look like a unicorn horn, which I am ecstatic for. This is my first time doing it this way. And as you go down the nail, you want to do a little bit at a time. Okay, you want to bring that in, take that excess off. We're going to pat this down, but we need this like line in here. It's really going to help us, so we're going to bring this orange to the side. And we're going to pat that in. Take that excess off. You see how I'm doing this? I'm bringing this up and over. Oh shit, I just stuck my brush in it. Shit, don't do that. Ugh, I can't believe I stuck my brush in that. But when you are doing this, keep your brush wet so it's not going to stick to your brush, okay? So you want to clean it. Clean your brush as well as you go. Look at that. Tell me that don't look so freaking cool. Ugh, I love it. Let me try and get this line a little bit more pronounced here. Oh yeah, that looks so this is my favorite part. Oh, yes, definitely. My bad. Is that better? Is that better, guys? Thank you for telling me. Shout out to everybody here. What up? Come in the chat, y'all. Alright, next up we have the purple. So we're going to take a little bit of our pink. Put it down at the end where that other one is. Go with our purple. Same thing. So we're going to pat this up and we're going to move this up into that color. So that way it not only marbles in that color, but it melts into that color as well. And then we're going to take this guy and make that nice line that we need. And we're going to keep making that flat all the way down. The best thing with a stiletto is making sure you're keeping it flat and together, especially down the sides, so you have less filing to do when you go to clear cap. Make sense? Oh, that looks really awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to lightly fold this down the nail a little bit here, because I don't want it to be too chunky down that nail. So we're going to pat that in. I'm going to pull the rest of this up here, just so we have it. Because you want to make sure it stays that way. Oh yeah, this is turning out better than I thought. Alright, we're going to do a little bit purple. Blue. Same thing, guys. So I had just a little bit too much on there. So we're going to bring the sides up. Bring that side up into that color. So it's actually rotating the way that you need it. So we're going to bring this side down. Bring this side down. And then I'm going to flatten it just a tiny bit. So we get that nice central line that we are looking for. And then I'm actually going to take this and take it off the nail. Now you don't have to be a pro at doing this, you guys, at all whatsoever. So now I'm going to just take my brush and I'm just going to pat that in. And the reason why I'm patting that in and patting it down is to make sure it's not super lumpy, bumpy. But we still have that nice structure line here. It's not really a structure line, it's just a line that I'm putting in there. But tell me that doesn't look bomb. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look bomb. This is what I love right here, guys. I'm going to use, when you're using something really small like this, use the corner of your brush. Especially if you just need a little tiny bit. So I'll just dab the corner here. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull this up. And then we're going to pull this down. So we get more of that blue in there. But we have that nice color on the part of the nail that we need. And now I'm going to flatten it. Bring it over. Pull it down. Flatten the tip. And then that way we have it all the way down the nail. And then I'm going to take my blue. We're just going to lightly give us a nice little... This is what I love right here. This is it, guys. This is what your girl does. What you think? Okay, I'm going to flatten this a little bit more. We've already got that line in there, so we got that nice distinction. So if you want to stay with me, stay with me. But look at that. Anybody can do this, you guys. Is it going in and out? Let me know. The one thing I'm scared of is now I got to do the top this way instead of downward. I should have started at the top, but it's okay. It is okay. So we need some pink. So what I'm going to do at the top here is it's not going to be super pronounced like the bottom. I'm just going to lightly kind of do it. So I think. Alright, so we're going to bring this over. And then same thing here. We're going to push this over. Still want that line. So it's going to be a bit harder since I started in the middle of my nail, but that's okay. We got it. Now all I'm going to do on the sides here, since I should have went this way with it. We're going to take the color that we need and we're going to fill in the spots that we need. Alright, so now I'm going to take this orange. And we're going to set this orange here. And then we're just going to take it and we're going to make our own layer with it. Because it needs to go the same way. So it's going to be a bit different, but I'm pretty sure we can save it. The one thing is you don't want it to be... Okay, so I'm going to take this all the way up and around. And then we're going to bring it and we're going to fill this in. Now, you don't want it to fall like mine did. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pat this down. You want your cuticle to be nice and thinned out. You don't want it to be all over, and you want it to make sure that structure is nice and thin around that cuticle area. So all I'm going to do is move this over. And you kind of have to use your body of your brush to do this, because I let it sit too long. Like I said, I knew the top was going to be a little bit challenging, but we can still maneuver with it, so we're going to lightly pull that and flatten it out. We still have this guy we can do, and then I'm going to cover the rest with that yellow. And then I'm going to bring that yellow down here. So it gives us a transition. And I can maneuver it this way, like so. So we have that line and it's coming down the edge the way that I need it to come down. See? What do you think? Oh, hi, Wannabe Natural. How are you? So that is what it looks like. Now, we wanted all of those lines to kind of be in there. So obviously this top one's a little bit more pronounced than, you know, all my other ones. But tis what it is, y'all. But you want to make sure you're filling in any side right here. Like, I'm missing just a tiny itty little bit on this side panel. I'm just going to take this little itty bitty part of this purple and fill that in. And then I'm going to pull it this way. So we're melting it right back up into that color, but we know that there's actual product in that hole. Does that make sense? And then we're going to go like this. And there we go. Dude, that is really cool looking. And I think what I'm going to do is add some glitter. So let's add a spout of glitter right here. Trying to think of like what color I want to do it. And you know what, you guys? I have a white one like these. And I think that white one would actually be better, don't you? You guys think the white would actually look better? It's just like the colored ones, it's just white. Found it. Okay. So here's my white one. It's hard to see, but it is a white iridescent. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of this because it's also got hollow in it and stars. And I think the stars are going to look really, really cool for the effect that I'm kind of going for, you know? I just want a little bit, though. Hi, Bermuda, babe. Hello. Is that good? Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to actually take and make this wet right here. I'm not going to put any up here. I'm just going to slightly maneuver it down like this. Just comes ever so slightly. Hi, Morgan. Hello, everybody. How are you? Okay. So let's get some of this on the nail here. Here's a star. Okay, so let's bring it down. Because it's supposed to be almost like a unicorn effect, I guess, if that makes sense. So we have a little star here. And that's going to camouflage that area that was kind of messed up a little bit. Does that make sense? So let's grab us a little bit more and bring it up a little bit. I don't want too many white ones, but I still kind of want to make it like it's coming from the corner of my nail here. If that makes sense. And there's got to be another star. So the stars are more or less like iridescent, so let's make them stick. I think we want a star up there, so when you go to move it, you can actually see it. So now what you don't want, guys, is you don't want big ones on the corners of your nail. You don't want big globs of glitter on the corners of your nail. Okay, I'm just trying to get like the smaller glitters here. Just so I can add a little bit more flare. And little tiny particles in certain places here. I'm going to take that guy off. I just want little particles. The little particles are going to give me what I need. So, and I think what I'm going to do is do you guys think I should keep it going? Like a galaxy? What do you guys think? Should I keep it going? I made it. Every single color you see here, I made myself. But what do you guys think about keeping it going? So we could put a star here. If a star is sticking up, what you want to do is just kindly move it and maneuver it. So actually, I'm going to take this guy here and move any of this excess out the way. So we're going to come like this. So move him over here. Let's get some more white ones. That way we can see what we're doing here. Yeah. I don't want too many of those big ones, you know. I definitely like all these little tiny ones and some big ones. And then I'm going to just move this one kind of down there, and then We kind of have like a little S shape, I guess. What do you think? I wish this one had a little bit more of the bigger types of like smaller glitters, but it's okay. I think she looks cool. Just need a bit of like those medium size, like little bits of color, you know? Oh my god, there's a moon! Oh, I didn't even know that. Freaking moon, I didn't even know. But tell me that is not bomb. Tell me that's not bomb. Do you like it? It's mommy time. Ooh, they're laid down. Hi, Yana. How are you? Thank you. Alright, there she is. That's how she looks like, guys. What you think? I think she looks freaking bomb. Alright, next one. How do you think we should do the next one? So I think what I'm going to do, how I did this one, now for this one, we'll have to go the opposite directions. We're going to go inward on the pinky, so that way they're both kind of like, So let's do just a regular marble, okay? And this one we'll do with both glitters and acrylic, okay? So this time I'm going to, let's start with purple. Like I said, I forgot. Make sure you wet this down, makes it nice and sticky, and then it makes it good to go. Alright, so we're going to take our color, purple, okay? We're going to add our blue, and I'm going to dip it both in like that, and then I'm going to take some of that glitter, and we are just going to have us a really cool marble glitter effect. I don't like that. That's a big thing. So what you want to do when you're marbling is kind of, you want to keep that color still marbled, if that makes sense. You don't want to flatten it too much, but you also don't want it to be super big up here by the cuticle. So I'm going to flatten this out the best that I can. Ooh, I like it with the glitter. It's going to look so cool once we put all these colors together with that glitter. You know what I mean? So let's take our blue. Okay, I'm going to dip into my green. And we're just going to maneuver that. And then I'm going to pull it up into that purple. We're going to push this like so. So we have that blue and we have that green. And I'm going to pull this up to fill in that nail. Part of the nail that we need. And then we're just going to, wherever it falls is where it falls. Like, that's the part of like marbling. There's no wrong or right way, I guess. There's always cool ways to do it. So you can bring this color down, can leave it the way it is. But like I said, you want to make sure you're bringing the sides in always. And then you always want to make sure you're cleaning that up so you have less to file. So regardless of what you do, it's going to look really cool. So let's bring our green. Grab our green glitter. Okay, let's get our yellow. And I'm actually going to pull this up. Okay, I'm going to pull that up, wet my brush. We're going to pull this up into that green and that blue here. like so. And I'm going to pull this up into that blue. We're going to melt that in together. And I'm just going to pull this up a little bit more. And one thing, like I said before, you want to make sure you're flattening the nail out, okay? Flatten that nail out, guys. So it goes with the nail. And then if there's too much, take it off the nail. It's not going to be a big deal. We're marbling, so it really doesn't matter. That typically doesn't happen, but sometimes it does. It just depends. But I don't want a bunch on here. I want to keep my structure. Don't want it to be like super duper lumpy either, but I want that color to still be there because I kind of want it on the lighter side of things. Not as bright as this, but light and bright at the same time. Does that make sense? All right, let's grab our yellow glitter. Okay, so now let's grab our orange. And we're going to do the same thing. Take your brush and just kind of mold it. Oop, that was a glitter. And I just took that color off there. Usually take your brush and just kind of run it through that color. And you're going to get a really, really cool marble effect. Whether you want it on both sides, you only want it on like the left side, it's totally up to you guys. But each time we get that color, it's going to be a nice like vibrant color, but at the same time like still really pretty. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my orange. A little bit of my orange glitter so we can still have some of that glitter. I'm going to hold it like this and grab my pink here. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to move that up into that next color. And we're going to pull this guy up into that yellow. Bring this pink up. And then we're going to make sure she's straight. And then sometimes your glitters can kind of get in the way, so you always want to be mindful about that. Who's here for this set? Anybody? Because you always want to make sure you're following that line. Keeping it flat, but you're kind of pushing that together. And I have a big glitter right here, and I don't want that sticking out of the end of my nail. Does that make sense? Woohoo! Hi, Gabby! Oh yeah, welcome Nighttime Nail Therapy to the Sugar Squad. It's actually Peep Squad, but welcome her and Nails by Black Dragon. They are our newest members of the Peep Squad, guys. If you would like to become a member, please join us. But do you see how like different these colors versus these are? So freaking cool that you can do such different things. You know what I mean? Alright, a little bit of pink. With a little bit of pink glitter. Now, see this glitter right here? I love it, but you honestly don't want them at the edge of your stiletto. You will file it off, to be honest with you. See what I mean? It'll stick up and it'll stick out. So you're not going to have a lot of structure right here at the tip of your, which you don't need, just simply because we're clear capping these anyway. But look at that, y'all. It's so pretty. I love it. All right, now we got to do a little bit more. Okay, we got to do pink at the top. So I'm going to take a bead of this pink and my glitter. Oh, shit. We need a little bit. We're going around that cuticle. But I'm also grabbing glitter, so you kind of have to be a little careful. Shit. Do you see what I just did? Don't do that. Typically, that's not what I do. However, all right, we're going to flatten this. Okay, so I'm going to take my brush and I'm actually going to flatten that baby. And then I'm going to take this off. So if you ever mess up like that, don't feel bad. Take it off the nail, guys. It's better to be off than to be stuck in a position that looks goofy. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright, I'm going to melt that back into the nail. Nice. Okay. I need to add a little bit more pink. No. Sometimes if you're not careful, you can get it to be too wet and then it will run everywhere. So all I'm going to do is just lightly run my brush through that. Okay, we're going to make sure we pick that up and fade that down. I'm going to go around like outside of my nail. And I'm just going to pull it inward and fan that out. If you fan it out and pull it in, then you can marble it together. I definitely can't believe I did that, but... Okay, same thing here, just a tiny, itty little bit. And what you want to do is you want to pat. And then you want to take that color, pat it into where you need it. And then blend it out. Blend it out so it's flat. Pull this in. But you also have that color coming in like that. Just like so. This got a little out of control on this side, but for the most part, we're golden. Isn't she pretty? There is one thing. Okay, there we go. Haha. So typically you would want to do your cuticle. I got some on my cuticle. Hold on. There we go. You don't want it to be up and you don't want to do what I just did. Okay? But that is gorgeous. Woo! And so this, we're going to do the stars and stuff on the middle one. in this one, I think, too. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do a full one of the white. Should we just do an all glitter one on this one? What do you guys think? And then we'll still use the colors on these, but we'll just do like a glitter one. Glitter only? What do you think? And all the new members have access to new emojis too, just so you guys know. All glitter? Okay, oh, well, that's why I forgot. Those glitters don't glow, I don't think. Let me see if they glow. I'm gonna set it in my light just to see, because I don't remember. Is this too far up? Or too far down, I mean? Or are we good? Yeah, I don't think it glows. Nope, it doesn't glow. Okay. So, the fact that that doesn't glow means I'll have one that doesn't glow. I can't have that. We need a whole glowing method here. Now, while that is like that... Because I want to make these nails where I don't have to put anything on top. Right? Let's see. I could do this white one right here. So it at least glows. No. Oh, it's too far down? You want me to pull it back up? I have this white right here. So I can do the white with the glitters. And then we'll have like a white nail. Mine just keeps typing the words, not showing the emoji or either. Huh, that's weird. You should just be able to tap on them. Okay, we're gonna get this nice and... Okay, so let's take our white. So we're going to take this and maneuver these up a little bit. And then I'm going to pull that down. Pat that in. Ooh. We're going to add some more pink. And then that way our pink and our orange is kind of together, but it'll also glow at the same time. Now, like I said, you want to keep it nice and flat too. I don't know where all of our ladies are, but... Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. And we're going to fade that in. So we're going to do the same thing, but this one's going to be like a milky. So we're going to pull this guy up. This one's definitely going to be super different, but you're still going to be able to tell that everything's chaotic and wonderful. But I think it's lovely. My favorite. What is your guys' favorite part, though, when you're watching nails? So we're going to mix this around. And then I'm going to bring it up the side. Let's bring some of that up, and then we'll bring some of it down. That's definitely going to be milky AF. And then I'm going to grab a little bit more of this yellow, so we have a little bit more of that yellow transition with the green. But we're not putting it in any type of like order, you know, other than rainbow. And then pat that baby in. This is size 12. You may ask anything. Okay, let's get our blue. Ooh, we got a butterfly this time. So marbling these colors together, you're just going to bring that color up. And kind of just melt it in to that color that we just put on. And then you're going to bring and just kind of like, you're going to pat it, maneuver it, and pat it around just like I did here. Ooh, we don't want to, we want that right there. And then if there's like colors that you want more on one side or the other, just make sure you're maneuvering that to where we have color on both sides of the nail. And I'm going to pat that butterfly right down inside that. But this is what my favorite part of doing nails or doing acrylic is right here. Being super creative with your acrylic. Aw. Thanks, love. I gotta fix this up here, but for the most part, each nail gets better and better as you do it. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's grab our purple. I picked up way too much, but like I said, when you have a small stiletto like this, you don't want a bunch of glitter to sit at the very end, like especially the hexagon glitters right here. For whatever reason, you want just a little bit. Take any of those bigger ones off and try to get some smaller ones on there. So that way it's not sticking out. That way you don't file through it. Your nail is, oops, good to go. And yeah. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to keep our shape here. We're going to make sure our shape is good. Okay, we're going to go like this. We're going to pop that up this way. So what you should do is always pull your acrylic upward like this to melt it into the bead that you just put in. And then you're going to maneuver that back down. And that way you can keep your shape. So I'm going to basically just add, not these bigger pieces, but I need like smaller purpley. Well, that didn't work either. Those would have been perfect. And then you just kind of want to make sure they're wet with acrylic. And then that way you can pat that in and it will stay. And if you want another color, go ahead and add another color if you want. Ooh! Hi! You're doing nails too? Hell yeah, dude. So I think we need just a hair bit more on the bottom here because we want the whole thing to glow, right? So I'm just going to take this and a little bit of this pink, and we're going to rub that kind of together so that way it's marbled and blended, but when you, after it glows, it's not going to look like it's meant to be any certain type of way. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and do our top. So we need a little bit more of, I don't know why I started with that one, but let's take our pink and make it a, because we have glow under this pink, so we're okay. And then I'm going to bring it up. We're going to flatten this out all the way to that side. And then I'm going to come around this edge. Okay, and then I'm going to take purple and put it at the top. So let's take a little bit of this white. And we're going to fade that down over that bead. And I went too far up. You want to keep it off your cuticle, guys. So I'm going to pull that down. And then I'm going to flatten that out. Okay, now that I have that like beautiful glow on there, I'm going to take a little bit more. And we're going to just fill this in. I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to lightly pull. Clean our side wall. Nice. Okay. Now I can take just a little bit of this purple and put it on top. What you don't want is that purple to come down over that orange. But we want to make sure we're pulling it down the best that we can and flattening that out. And there we go. And I think we are going to need like another purple right there. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of like shiny purple. And we're going to maneuver. There we go. There we go. What do you think, guys? I'm actually going to put one right there. What do you think? I think that looks bomb. Shout out to everybody here. Hi, guys. So every time you want to rotate your napkin, guys, too. I'm slow when I'm doing this, but I honestly don't care because I'm taking my time doing what I want to do. I'm a little sad that like I don't think YouTube's pushing this out, but I am so grateful you guys are here. And I'm grateful I got 2 new members today. Doing good today. I'm gonna grab a drink. You will, love. You definitely will. Keep going. Keep... Love, I have been doing this for 4.5 years. 4.5 years. Alright, guys. So they all will glow now that we got all that on there. So with this one, I'm going to start with purple. Okay, so we're going to flip-flop it, right? Or should we start with blue? What do you guys think? What color should we start the rainbow with? We have purple up here. This one's pink to purple to blue. How do you think we should start this one? Because I'm going to do the same thing where I do this right here, but I like to reverse it. Start with green. Ooh, we have blue and green. Let's take the poll. How about that? You guys take the poll. Starting with blue, green. Everybody, go share this out. Tell your friends. Orange. Ooh, green. Blue, green, green, orange. Well, it's between blue and green at this point. But the other one we can start with, because we got yellow and orange on this one. This one I'm kind of scared for because we got to make the colors go inward like this. But I really do hope that you guys can try this out. And I'm doing different types of marbles on each nail so that we can get used to doing like chunky glitter with regular pigment and all that. And then I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do this one with the white. Since I'm not using white on my pinky, I'm going to use this white, and I'm going to show you guys how I use white to do kind of like a portrait marble. And that way you guys can see how I do that, because I do a lot of like portrait marbles and stuff like that. So if you guys are here for it, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. But I just needed to do an entire rainbow moment. Alright, it's about ready to close. 1 minute, 2, and a 30 in the pull. Boop. Alright, green one. Did it come up yet? No. I don't know. Can you guys see it on your end? Because I can't see it on my end. It has not done its thing. Oh, there we go. Alright. Apparently I wasn't seeing your guys' messages, but you guys can see pretty good, right? Alright, so we're going to use the white, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But yeah, when I'm constructing like a nail like this, like these, and I'm doing every one of them different, I am a tad bit slow. I just noticed that this one's kind of crooked. Oops. Oh, okay, we're starting with green, right? So let's do... We're doing green. Nope, that doesn't go there. That goes here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. And while it's wet, we're going to take a little bit of this glitter. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to push it over and down. And I'm going to flatten that out. And then what I like to do, as I flatten this, I like to take my brush and just kind of put like little indents in there. And then when you put the indents in there, you can get some really cool like swirly, and that's where you can put a lot of your glitter and whatnot in there. So I could take like this yellow glitter, and we can put the yellow glitter inside of this green and just kind of maneuver it down like so. And then it kind of gives you a little bit of a different type of vibe. It's really cool. Like, super cool. Like, I love to do this way. So let's take some of this white. And with the white, we're going to take this white and we're just going to let it do its thing. Okay, so we're coming in like this, and we're going to bring this all the way up here. And I'm actually going to fan this out into that green. But I'm going to take this hole, and we're just going to leave a little hole there. Now, I'm going to take this guy, and we're going to fill this in the way that we need to bring it up onto that green. So we have a nice, like, little structure of that nail on the side. So there, we have a little bit of that white. So let's take some of, like, this white and put this glitter here. Let's put a little moon right here. I'll put a little moon. Now, like I said, if you have a glitter that sticks up, all you got to do is move it a certain way and it'll go flat. Make sense? So we got a little bit of that white glitter. Let's bring it down. We have it in that hole. And we're gonna... Okay, so anytime that you are making these, you want to make sure you're going in and flattening them out as well. So you don't have to put so much clear on. The more you flatten, the better off you're going to be. Hi, everybody. Bro, my cat just knocked over. Oh, no. My cat steals my shit all the time. All the freaking time. Alright, so let's grab our yellow. And I'm going to do a bit of... Actually, let's do a little bit of that green again. Just a tiny bit of that green, and then we're going to do more yellow than green. And you're going to use your color first, then add your details with your other colors. So I'm just going to amazingly fade this down like so. Take your brush through it like this, okay? Now what you don't want, right, is you don't want a bunch of color on one side. You want to make sure you're actually pulling this up the nail. And then let's kind of take this little guy and just give us a little bit of that, like so. And let's pat it in. Okay, now we're going to take our orange, yellow. We're going to take this, and we're going to stick this guy right in through here. And you want the bigger glitters not in the little holes, I guess, per se. You kind of want them to be kind of on the outside, so this little white area is just an area that looks cool for when we go to encapsulate, if that makes sense. So we're going to make sure we bond that together, melt that bead together. Okay. We're going to go in with a little bit more of this white. So for each color, we're going to add white. Just a little bit, and we're just going to run it over that other color just to give us a little bit of a different marble type. So I'm going to take my orange, my pink. Shit. You're going to take your orange, and then you're going to go with your pink on the other side. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to keep this orange up here. And then we're going to marble it down. Pat that in. But pat it up into that color, guys. So that yellow and that orange is coming together. Right? And then if you want it to go anywhere else, you can maneuver it that way too, but we're going to just kind of bring it down a little bit. We're going to pull it over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pat this up and fill that in. So that way we have a nice transition of the colors. So that way it's actually looking marbled, right? So once again, I'm going to grab orange on one side and pink on the other. Okay, now I'm going to grab some of that orange glitter here. And we're just going to set that up there so we get that nice orange prosciutto type of look here. We're going to pull this up too. But we also have that pink in there. Now if it gets to be too much, then kind of pull it up. Because we want to make sure we get that whole bit of that rainbow on there. So we're going to take this and we're going to bring this line and we're going to create our own line. Okay, it doesn't have to be huge or anything. And then I'm going to take this little bit off. Eee. Oh, I got it in there in my green. Okay, so I'm going to wet my brush and I'm going to go in and we're going to melt. So that way we don't have a bunch of shit sticking off the nail. But since it was Mother's Day, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing a freaking, like, my own nail. You know? Okay, let's put a little bit more of this white. Just kind of make like a little bit of that cloudy, milky look. We're going to take our pink. Okay, so I don't want that to move too much, right? So I'm going to take my pink glitter. We're going to add some of that glitter into that. And then we're just going to pull it. And you want to make sure your brush is nice and saturated. Okay, let's pull this pink up into that orange. Take any excess off that you need, but we're going to pull. And then we're going to push this glitter up into that pink because we need that glitter up inside there and it to be more structured on the nail. What I do need is to make sure that I don't lose sight of the structure. So we're going to cut some of this off. And I'm just trying to make sure it's straight. Hi guys! Hi Christina! Yeah, nobody has these colors. And the reason why nobody has these colors is because this was a set that I redid for, because I redid like my first ever set that I made. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are bringing this color, fighting these glitters and melting this into each other. If you do not melt this bead, guys, then it's going to be so bumpy that you're going to have a little bit more time filing than you typically would need to. So I'm going to take some of this purple, and I'm just going to take my purple, and we're just going to lightly pull that down so we have a little bit of that purple tip. Oh yeah, so let's fade that up a little bit. Look at that purple tip, y'all. What do you think? I did a little bit too much yellow, y'all. But I'm gonna counteract that with the blue. So we have the green. So I'm gonna take this blue. And I'm actually gonna add it up here to give us more of that greeny blue color. And then I'm gonna pull it down. Flatten it out. So I'll just add some of this white and we'll just do like a big white streak right through the center of that without taking too much of it and smashing it down so you can still see that it's white. Okay, so one thing we're going to do is we're going to melt that bead just a little bit. But the good thing about it is going to look like this. Those glitters underneath there are going to look really cool. Really, really cool. So what you can do also is take your color if you want to bring your color up more. Now this is going to be a different orange than this one because it's not marbled with that pink. So it's also going to give you a really cool color. And you just paint it on. You literally just paint it on and blend it into that next color. And then you got yourself a freaking... And we have our little hole right here that we're going to add some of our glitters to. See how the difference is in that color? So let's grab this yellow. Let's give us like more of this yellow coverage here. And you do it with a wet brush. If you're doing any type of covers like this, where you just need just that color in there, you want to do it wet. Doing it wet is going to give you more control over that bead because you just want to paint that color on and mix it to, not mix it, but bring it together. So I'm actually going to bring this up and just kind of pat it so it merges with that yellow even more. And then I'm going to take my green. And I'm going to pull this green down over that white just a little bit. Pat that in. Blend these little areas out on the side. Okay, nice. So we have a little bit of white in there, just in the center there. So let's take our blue. And then I'm going to take our purple. And we're going to lightly set that right here. Can you guys see? So we're going to take this blue and we're going to push it up. And then once we push it over, we're going to bring it up to our cuticle lightly. And then we're going to pull this down and melt this into that green. Look at that unicorn color. Get it off your cuticle. And then bring it down. So that way you just have that hint of that color up at the top there, but it still gives you that unicorn vibe, you know? Yeah. What do you think? I've given you so many different ways to marble. So many different ways. Now, I don't like this little guy here. So I'm going to fill this in with this pink glitter. So it's not so, you know, it all kind of comes together. Because you'll still be able to see like that little transition of that color. And it's not like super bad, you know. We're just gonna pat, pat, pat. There she is, guys. What you think? I think we need a little bit more of like the bigger glitters, just a little bit. So I'm gonna grab some of my brighter yellow And I'm just going to stick that here. So it gives us a little bit more of that iridescent, that fun iridescent look. Up the side. What do you think, y'all? Now you don't want none of the orange. Okay, that one's not going to look good. You want more of a... Okay, I'm going to pat that in. There we go, we got more of that glitter up there. So I'm pretty sure, I think I want to add a little bit of that blue up here. Just a little bit of like this iridescent-y type of vibe. That way we can see some transition in these colors here. And they still kind of sparkle a little bit. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Hi, Glam. Hi, Cheryl. Alright, same thing with the purple, guys. We're going to just add a little bit of this purple up at the top here. I'm going to take this big one. But we're going to move these. Now, really, you don't want these, like, side by side, to be honest. Oh, for crying out loud. You want them to be kind of where that color is actually transitioning, but you don't want, like, too many, you know what I mean? Of the same color. Oh my. Alright, we're going to take that purple off. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of this green, but I need some iridescent, so... There. Oh yeah, that gave us like that nice chunky vibe we were looking for. And we need at least one other big one up here to give us a really good like vibe of color change. There we go. There we go. What do you guys think? I think they're fucking bomb. I don't care who you are, but I think they're bomb. Now we got to do this one on this one, and then we are clear capping. But the one thing that I know for a fact, gosh, you guys are, thank you, Glam, for coming. Is it Jill? I don't know how to say your word. I'm so sorry. Okay, so now we're not going to be using the glitters. Except for the white. This white here. So I'm going to move these guys out of the way. Alright. Now we're just using these colors. And then we'll use this one at the very end. And what I'm going to do is clean my brush. Because anytime you're marbling like that, your brush will continue to get dirty. Because you're using the tip of your brush so much. So your brush will get kind of slimy, if that makes sense. And you will be able to feel and tell the difference. So I'm just going to run it like this, and you'll be able to tell if it's got a bunch of shit in it or not. You know what I mean? And like I told everybody, I'm slow. But I'm glad y'all are here. So shout out to the 15 of y'all that are in here. Make sure you like and subscribe. This is my Mother's Day set to myself, inspired by myself. Does that make sense? Okay, we're gonna get this guy wet so we can get it nice and sticky. Sticky, sticky. I hate that my middle nail and my thumb are square right here at the cuticle, but this one and this one's not. Like, just, is anybody else's cuticles like that, or am I just weird? Alright, so we got yellow and orange. Now we gotta go this way. So I gotta remember to bring it. Look at this one. What do you think about that one, Glam? Are they? Hi, Ash. This is our unicorn horn. Do you like it? Do you like it? Now we're going to do another unicorn horn, but this time, what color are we going to start with this time, guys? Do we want to start? We have blue and green, kind of like a greeny blue. We have a purple and a pink. We have orange and yellow. We pretty much have done them. We've done them all. What do you think? Which one should we start with? We got yellow and orange. Maybe orange? Start with blue. I got blue right here. I don't like putting them together. I like to reverse them. So I could do blue. I could do purple and then blue. Alright, we'll do purple and then blue and then go down that way. Alright, so how I marbled these was I took two colors and brought them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to wet my brush, and I'm only going to tap it once on the side of my dish. Okay, so each side is going to have a color. So we're going to dip it in both colors. See that? So now I'm going to lay that down. And we're going to bring it up. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere here. And we're going to bring it over like this. And we're going to pat any of that excess off the nail. Now, what we want is we want that line. So what's going to happen is we're going to take and make that line visible, right? So first and foremost, it needs to be flattened out, but we need this line to be somewhat more taken outward than what I just took it. Don't worry, don't do this. Make sure you have gloves on if you do. Okay. Melt that back in together. And then that way we have our line of whatever that's going to start the color. Now I'm going to bring it down. I got to flatten that color out to give us that that angle. Going like so. Make sense? Alright, so we started with our purple. We got all the way over to the edge, so we're good on the edge. So we're going to do this again. Now I'm actually going to tap twice on my brush, so that way I'm not like... Okay, I'm going to take... We started with blue, well, purple, but... I'm going to take this blue and a little tiny bit of this purple. Hold on, there's a reason why I just took that off the nail. Okay, I'm going to blend that in. Alright, bear with me. I took that off the nail because up here is going to be pink, and we don't want too much blue, and we don't want too much purple. Because we want to kind of give it the best shot that we can with all the colors in it. So, because purple was supposed to be at the top, and it ended up on the side. But it's not a big deal, it's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take green and put it up here. Or I'll just do pink. What do you guys think? Or, because pink's got to go here, so we'll figure it out. we're going to do the pink. And then, how do I'm going to take this pink. And I'm going to melt it with this orange. The line that it creates is going to be our line that we need. Make sense? So we're going to bring this up. We're not going to marble it too much, but we want to bring it up into that color. And then we want to pat that in. Bring it down the side. But we want to keep that line. That line's going to give us a really, really nice shape. It's going to give us a much different unicorn shape. So we're going to bring it down. I'm going to pat that up. Pat that in. And then so each line is going to be the line that gives us like that unicorn horn look. I should have done one right here, but I forgot. So it is okay. Keep your sides in. Now I tried, this is something new. So yeah. So we're going to take this guy. We're going to put him right here. Then we're going to take our yellow. And we're going to pull that up the nail. Like so. On the side. And then we're going to pull it down. And then we're going to take this and we're going to make just a tiny little, ever so slight line in there. Oh yeah, that's going to look bomb. You don't need to see a lot of it, just enough of it to give you that, like, you know that there is a line in there. You know what I'm saying? And you want to make sure that they are not too thick, if you will. So you want to make sure you're pushing that into that next color, but you still want that line in there so you can see that transition. I don't know if you guys are learning anything, but the fact that I'm a dude just mesmerized. Oh, no. Nobody will make fun of you here. Okay, we're going to start with yellow again. Got our nice yellow shade. Okay, we're going to go back in with our green. That was way too much green. Shit, shit, shit. Stay there. So the bottom color is going to be your transition color, where the line is going to go, right? So we're going to just pat that in. Pat it over. You want to bring it over. But you also want to make sure that you're kind of pulling that next color up and down at the same time. Pulling that color up and down gives you a nice flat here so you can do your structure. Okay, so what we don't want to lose is that verticalness. Okay, hold on. We definitely don't want to lose that vertical of that color. For the most part, you don't really want to see through that line, but if you do, it's not a big deal. We're going to add some glitter to it anyway. But you want to make sure you're bringing it down vertically the whole way. So, like, if you have to push this guy more to come down the nail, do it. So it's not just like... I think it looks cool. Hi, everybody. Well, yay! I'm glad, guys. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of that green. A little bit of blue. And like I said, that's going to be our line. See how it kind of gives us that nice line? That's what's going to help us. And then you want to take this and kind of bring it to the edge more. So kind of pull it down just a hair. Blend it in. See how it's blended in really nice? Now you already have that line that you can take your brush through. So we're just going to take this guy and... Now, even though I did that, I'm going to bring them together. So we have just a little line. Now, this is a bit different than what I even did my first one. But I think it looks really cool. And then just kind of press that in. I'm sorry, guys. Press it in and press it down, too. Okay? Because we don't want, like, super thick nails. Do you want to keep that little... And then make sure you're getting that excess out of the back. Because it's going to look goofy if you don't. Nice. Okay, we're going to take our blue. Purple. Alright, we want to make sure we bring this up. Just like before, and you want it to blend. So that way that spiral is still coming down on one side. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this up and just kind of marble that in there. Same thing here. Just pat this in. Just a hair. And then once you run your brush, just a little bit through it. And then bring it this way. You'll still have that line. That purple will still be there too. And that kind of gives you the next part of that already done. But it looks really like 3D, like it's an actual unicorn horn, you know? But this right here is what got me started with acrylic and what got me loving acrylic, because I could just do crazy shit like this. And the amount of people that told me I couldn't do it, literally, like, I'm not even joking with you guys. They're like, no one's gonna like that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? It's not for you. It's for me. So it didn't matter, you know? And so, yeah. I was just like, somewhere, some way, I lost my little... I don't even know what you want to call it. But, let's get our purple. Let's get our pink. Okay. Oh. Same thing. Push up. Bring down slightly. Oh shit. About basically took that off the nail. You want to make sure you're not taking it completely off the nail, guys. You want it to literally, you want it to be like flat at the tip. You don't want this big hump right here. You want it flat at the tip. So bring it down. Okay, I gotta do my little, oh shit. You kind of gotta be really, okay, this one proves to be a tad bit difficult. Because you don't want like a bunch of weird stuff sticking up. So you want it to blend together, but you don't want it sticking up a bunch. I'm just grateful you guys are here to watch this process, and I do hope that you guys try, or at least if you guys just like to watch acrylic, I appreciate you guys being here. And give me 1 sec so I can get this square right. The more you get it now, the better off you're going to be when you go to clear cap. And I think I just have too much on my brush. And I really do. If you guys find this interesting and whatever, and you guys want to try it, try it. Hi! How are you? How are you, Karina? Okay, so we have to fill this little top part in right here. And I was almost thinking about adding a little bit of glitter to that. Just to, I don't know, add something different up there. But I forgot what I was going to do was do an opal glitter part of that one. But yeah, we're just going to fill that in. I'm going to add a little bit of green right there. And then it'll fill in that portion. So just a little bit of this green here. And then a little bit of this blue here. Oh shit, that was way too much. But I'm going to pull that green down and over. There we go. And I'm going to make sure I flatten this completely out. Especially on the sides. You want that cuticle area to be the most flat as you can get it. Now I need this line right here because this is our little demarcation line, but I'm doing a unicorn horn. There we go. Okay, we need to just fill in this little purple area right there. Just to fill in that like little bit of color. So it doesn't look like it's empty. Are you guys cool with hanging out with me? Okay, I gotta fill this in. But I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have like where that line is going. You just want to be careful. Even though I need to fill that in, I just going to have to be careful. So I'm filling in this little teeny tiny hole. right here. Cleaning that up and then pushing this into that color, but it also filled in the area for me. Yep, nice. Alright guys, that's it. What do you think? I don't know. Do we want to keep it like this, or do we want to add the white like this one so we have like a little bit of a cosmic look? What do you think? No worry. Oh, hi Josh! Welcome to the, yeah. Welcome Mr. Josh to the Peep Squad. And also welcome Miss Christina to the membership, the Peep Squad. But do you think we should leave this one different since they're all different? And we have the white and the stars on this as like a galaxy unicorn look. Do we leave this one like this? Want to leave it different? Okay. We'll leave it different. Alright. Now, as these dry, obviously what you want to do is make sure you go through all of your acrylics, and you want to make sure you are cleaning that brush, guys. Okay? You want to clean that brush. Hi, Sabby. How are you? Hi! Woohoo! Here's the nails, everybody. What do you guys think? We have unicorn, galaxy on this one with complete with stars. We have our, this was a marble with the glitter and the glows. And then this one was the white mixed with glitters. So, because the glitters don't glow, so I had to put the white in there so at least this would glow along with all the other nails. And then this one also has like a little white in throughout these. You guys can't see that, but it's there. And then this is our unicorn horn. And this is just a regular unicorn horn, but marble. Do you like it? Okay, our brush is nice. We're going to let her dry. But I wanted to do a set of nails that I didn't have to do anything to. And all I had to do was clear cap. Literally. All I had to do was clear cap. And if you take your time and you're doing multiple marbles like that, guys, you can do anything. Like, you can make it go any which direction. And I'm not even kidding at all. Like, you can make it go any direction. You can play with the acrylic, and it also depends on like what acrylic you're doing or using. However, I'm using all custom acrylics that I made myself, and I think that everybody can do this. Like, marble is like one of the things that got me to stay with like 3D marble effects like these. Is what got me to love acrylic so much. I used to do 3D all the time, and I kind of just stopped, and so I was kind of just like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But I wanted, since today was that day, that Mother's Day, I wanted to, you know, do something for me, and do something that like I knew I wanted to do with the colors. And so yeah, and since that this is my first ever collection, this is revamped collection that I did, I thought it was only fitting that we used original colors and all that good stuff. How are you? How's everybody's Mother's Day going, whether you are a mother or a mother to fur babies? We're all mothers. Look how dirty I got. Usually I don't get that dirty, but when you're doing 3D, sometimes it happens. And you guys know me, I'm usually messy anyway. I'm usually pretty messy anyway. Alright guys, I'm gonna move this, put this in my little baggie, and then get our monomer ready. So these ones obviously are dry. This one is not yet, but that is okay. We are going to be using clear acrylic from Eclipse Nails. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. But what I did, though, if you don't know, if you're new, I gotta kind of do this, so bear with me here. I'm gonna clear cap, but I'm gonna get kind of some of this excess off. Because I know I got it on me. But, I actually... What was I gonna say? Oh, if you're new and you don't know, I do go ahead and clean around my cuticle area where my brush touched, and that is because I'm very sensitive, and I take my alcohol and I make sure I get all of that monomer off of my skin before I wash it also, because sometimes washing doesn't get it all off. So it may seem stupid, but it's buffering? No! Can you guys still hear me? Shout out to the 18 of y'all in here. I hope you're gaining some value. I know that I only do... Guys, let me know. Are you guys good? Let me know, though. Like, for real. But I know that I do a lot of, like, crazy, sometimes complicated sets. Anybody can do this. Just keep practicing, guys. It's taken me... I've been doing nails or acrylic for 4.5 years now, which is kind of crazy to think about. Oh, okay, good. And I honestly, looking back, June... Oh my gosh, my freaking anniversary's coming up. I just thought about that, you guys. My actual, like, channel anniversary's coming up in June. Oh my Lanta. I just thought about that. Wow. But yeah, I went from being in recovery, right? I went from fucking my life up to, like, I didn't get in trouble or anything. I just was done being in recovery. Or not being in recovery, but I was done, like, you know, being an addict or whatever. And so I ended up getting my life together and never thought for a second that little old me, who would wear these dollar store press-ons and Walmart press-ons everywhere I went, but you best believe I made them look bomb AF. And I really did too, but I ended up getting allergic to the kiss glue, you know what I mean? Like the glue that they put in there. I got super allergic to it, so I couldn't do anything with it anymore. And so I was like, well, shit, you know, what am I going to do now? I thought it was the brands. The whole time I thought it was the brands, but it was me. At that time, I just found out I had lupus. So for me, it was like, I didn't just find out, but like I was just dealing with it, if that makes sense. So I was in recovery, right? I was dealing with the fact that I was sick every day because I would have my lupus and stuff. And so it was a little bit cray-cray, and I always did my nails and I always did my hair. I always colored my hair. I didn't really do my makeup. I just colored my hair a lot and did my nails. And at the times that I couldn't go get my nails done, I would, you know, go get acrylic or whatever. I would just go and get my own. And yeah, and then I was allergic to it, so I was like, what am I going to do now? So I just stopped altogether. Didn't think anything of it, and it kind of, I never thought in a million years that the people I watched on YouTube, I always was like, oh my gosh, like, it would be a dream to have my own room and be on YouTube and be able to create and make people laugh with my art, but like, make people laugh, but create art at the same time, but at the same time is like opening the door up for me, so my creativity that I'm thinking about in my brain that people can't see can come out where it needs to come out. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, like, at the time I had small children, so it wasn't feasible. It was just a dream. And that was back in 2017, 2018. And I was watching Jeffree Star and, like, those beauty influencers, because I thought, I watched makeup and hair and all that kind of stuff. but I watched so many nail channels too, and I was like, but I always used like regular nail polish after I knew I couldn't have that, so I just went and got a bunch of glitters. And you know what came about is how my name came about was my daughter named me. She was about 4, and she said, "Because you love sugar glitter, Mama." And my name was already like Eclipse, and so she said, "Sugar Eclipse," and I was like, "Oh my god." So yeah, that's how my name came about, guys. And I was like, no, but I did make an Instagram, and I had an Instagram with my name, but I never did anything with it until 2020, the end of 2021, 2022. Aww, I love you guys. But the fact that she came up with my name means more than anything. You know what I mean? But I never expected to get brand deals. I never expected to get, like, anything like that or do anything like that. Here's that brush I was talking about, you guys. I was talking about this brush in Ellie's Live, and it comes with a 3D brush as well. I have this posted on my community tab, guys. This is a cheap brush, but it works well, and it's one of my favorites, and you can save money and get this and practice with this one if you don't want to spend hella money on, like the big brushes. You know what I'm saying? But Zule's brush is a size 12, and it is 30 some dollars or something like that. But do you see how the smallness of it? And this is what the difference looks like when it's real versus marble. Like it's mixed hair or whatever. The darker it is here, that's how you can tell that it's like actually real. See that? But you see how like all these are lighter? I don't know if you can see that or not. But you see how much lighter, and you have these little like white strands through this? Yeah, this is called a synthetic blended Kolinsky. And so you really don't want that, but this one does work good, and I've used it for about 3 years now. And that's how long this has held up. 3 years, guys. I've been using this brush until I got this one. So yeah. Oh, hi, Eagle Fighting. How are you? Shout out to every single person in here. Shout out to Cola, Golden Phoenix Nails, Eagle Fighting. We have GLAM Dragon Nails, Nighttime Nail Therapy. We have Nails by Black Dragon. We have Kooky Cootie Knickknacks, Sabby. And let me go back up. Shout out to all of you for being in here right now. I love you guys so freaking much, and I'm so grateful. Ashley, thank you for being in here as well. Shout out to you. We have Karina Must Run. She was in here as well. Now Glitter and Chaos. So guys, these ladies have channels. And Wanna Be Natural 2012, thank you so much, my love. All these ladies pretty much have channels, guys. And Nails by Black Dragon also has a channel. Ashley Lewis. So yeah, thank you everybody, and shout out to my 2 new members. Woohoo! Woo woo! I'm doing great. How are you? It is very long, I'm not gonna lie. It's supposed to be Cookie Cutesy Knickknacks. Oh, okay. I get it now. I see it now. But it looks like cootie. Sorry. Happy Mother's Day to all. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna wash my hands really quick and let the rest of this one dry, because it's still not dry at the end here. So that'll help it dry too. And okay, these ones are good to go, except for underneath this one here. So I'll be right back. Please don't go anywhere. I hope you guys are okay with me washing my hands really quickly. It's basically washing my hands and my glove at the same time. I know, girl. It's alright. Okay, I'll be right back, alright? I'm going to turn on some... Do you guys want me to turn on a little bit of non-copyright music for you? And it will be called Knee Fix. Because Knee Fix is the best. I love it so much. It's my fave. It's one of the best freaking non-copyright ever. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Hold the chat down, guys. All right. Hopefully that's not too loud, y'all. Alright. We are back, baby. Thank you all for being here. Guys, so this one, even though I used that white, I didn't use enough of that white for it to glow. These ones are glowing without me even putting it in the freaking thingamajigger bobber. So, yeah. I'm like, no! That's okay. I should have stirred it and I didn't. But that's alright. That is okay. We shall deal with it. You had a dance party? Yay. What up? Well, people were saying that, like, YouTube was, like, not gonna whatever if you had, like, any type of music, even though it was real. Or, real. What the heck, Crystal? What the hizzle? But, yeah. I was like, what? So, I'm trying to think if I want to use this to pick up big beads or... So, first things first, what you want to do is wet the nail again with your monomer, guys. And, honestly, I just realized this star. Aw, thanks! We need to glue this star down. Because if you have any type of anything sticking up, it will not do what you need it to do. So we need to hold that down so that way it can go in there. Thank you for that. That was cool. 300 jewels. Doo 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 doo. You just hold it for a little bit, guys, and it'll bring these little pieces down for you. Just hold it with a plastic bag. It doesn't stick to it or anything. Best hack ever. Boom. Boom. Okay. Now we can do what we gotta do. Alright. So this one too. See this? So we're gonna have to do the same thing with this one. So you have to put this underneath the star. Okay, and then do this. Get it all situated in there. Because you do not want these sticking out. You will file them off, and then you'd have to put a bunch of clear on there to get them to do what you need to do. So we're just going to hold that in there again. Thanks for coming out, guys. But yeah, just the fact that, like, it just now dawned on me that it's going to be 5 years this June is absolutely bonkers, you guys. Like, just the mere fact of where I'm at now, because I never thought I would ever be here, so, like, I never thought I'd have my own room either. There you go. It took me, my kid moving out for me to have my own room, but we won't go there. I'm like, no, I don't want you to move. I'm not ready. Definitely was not ready. At freaking all. Alright, so we're going to go up at the top and we're going to push on the top of that bead. We're going to bring it all the way to the side. Clean our brush. And then we're going to pull down. This is going to give us enough of that encapsulated. That clear is going to encapsulate that glitter enough to where we don't have to worry about filing through those glitters. Now this time I'm not going to be slapping it on like I did the other day. But one thing you definitely want to do is make sure you're bringing that upwards and downwards. Okay? So you're blending that bead in and up the nail. Okay? It will be a little wonky. And the reason being is because it's a marble. Marbles are wonky. It is what it is. So we're going to take this bead, get all the way to the sides here. We're going to flatten that out. Clean our brush. Pull that down. We're going to bring it up. And then we're going to move it down. This is actually... Bringing it up is actually melting it into the bead that we just put on the nail. And then making sure that you keep your sidewalls in. See? It's going to be a little bit bumpy just because of the back end, but we want to make sure we have a good structure from here to here so these don't snap. So push this in. And then we're going to pull up, push in, pull up, and then we're going to pull that rest of that down. And then you're going to walk it down. Pull back up though. If there's a line, if you see a line or an indent where it didn't actually form into that bead that you just laid down, make sure you're walking it up as much as possible to melt that in so you don't see those lines. I call it like demarcation lines, but that's me. And then you should be able to continue to actually walk it down enough to go right over those glitters, but still give you a good structure. Now I have a little hole right here where that star is poking out, which is fine. I'll go back in and do what I gotta do. So we're going to take a little bit of this. We're going to put this guy here. Stilettos are a little bit different, guys, than your normal, you know, nails if you're not used to stilettos. Okay, we're going to pat. Now we're going to bring all that right over the edge, like so. Now with this type of stiletto, we want it square. So you want to make sure you're keeping that square the best that you possibly can. Because I like them like this. But these will not take me as long as the 3XL square did. Okay. So just make sure you're good, and you want to look at it from every angle. So you want to bring it back up. Wet your brush. That monomer is what is melting that in with that polymer. So you want that nice transition from here to here. But you also need the sides. And I'm going to use that body of my brush. There we go. A little bit different for these ones, but once you get it, you'll be able to get it in no time. Yes, you can do this look with gel polish, absolutely. You'll just have to do like almost like a 3D type of how do I want to put that? Like, you can do it with the gel and stuff, absolutely, but you kind of want to, if you want the lines in there, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to make sure I am getting right up against that side portion too. If you have these colors, absolutely. I have a big divot right here, so I'm going to have to just take the body of my brush and make sure I put this to blend out really lightly. Blend this out. Blend this up just a hair. And then you're going to come back down so it all melts and looks melted together. See, now we have that nice slope. Can you guys see that? Meow. But I just lightly put that there so that way we could fill in that little gap I had right here. So I hope that made sense. Now this time I'm trying to do it a little bit better than I did last time. And you want to keep cleaning your brush. I didn't get over very far on this, but you want to make sure you keep cleaning that brush, guys. So I'm going to pull this part down, and then I'm going to thin this out. Because you don't want to keep putting it over the same area. And you have to make sure you thin this out, like big time. And then pat this in. So we got to pat that part in. So we get a nice, beautiful, this whole thing is done, if that makes sense. Nice. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I've done something similar. I can't think of when I did it though. Trying to think. I'm gonna push this up into this area. I'm gonna pull this down. I'm trying to think. I just got a black glitter in my... I'm trying to think of where the... When I did that, I have a nice apex, so that's great. I think it was last year. I actually think it was October I did it. But then again, I don't remember exactly. Okay, so you definitely have to make sure you're getting the edges. And then I missed the spot right there, and then we should be good. I'm going to take the monomer out of my brush, and I'm going to push this right there. And then we're going to pull that down. Pull down. And then we're going to bring our brush around. We're going to take that right off our cuticle. Same thing on this side. You want to make sure you're patting that in and pulling that down. One thing you don't want is a flat, like this is higher over here because I have that, like, big arch inside there. It's fine, but I need more here, so... We're gonna pull this guy down. And we're gonna melt. There we go. Like I said, you do it in the same spot, you'll get even more. So we at least have a good apex on that. That's not going nowhere. So that's good. We are good on this. I want to make sure this tip is good though. These tips will break, guys, if you're not careful. They will absolutely break. Okay, always make sure your sides are being kept in as much as you possibly can, but as you guys know with marbles, sometimes that's hard to do, but we're good to go on this. And I'm pretty sure we need right here. So I'm going to drop this right here. Clean my brush. We're going to wet that and we're going to melt that in. We're going to bring it up and down. It's a little flat, but it's there. You know what I mean? I don't mind having flat. It doesn't bother me, but there are people that hate it. You know? Like, there are people that literally hate having no apex. I love you guys. Okay, what? Oh, dude, that is gonna look so good. Is it not? I mean, it sucks because I was like, oh, this isn't gonna take me that long until I actually started doing it, and I was like, oh, shoot. So. But, like, I don't care as long as, like, we do it right, you know what I mean? As long as we get it done, do it right, and make it look absolutely amazing, then yay. I am going to be starting a video once a month. And the first video is going to be of Conjure Up Nails' birthday video for her. Okay, I'm going to pull this down. And I'm going to pull it up. Melt that in. We're going to come back and we're going to pull that back down. But it's going to even itself out, as you can see here. Sometimes with these little brushes, with like these tips, you can get a bunch underneath, but for the most part, it's not too bad. Just make sure you're focusing on the, you know, making sure you're cleaning that out and whatnot. Okay, once again, we're going to melt that up. Like I said, you don't want to see no, like, rim or line of any sorts. Okay, we're going to take that excess off and over the edge. Clean that bottom. There we go. Aw, thank you. You guys are the best, dude. The absolute best. Now you want to clean your brush as soon as you lay that bead down. And then we're going to float that. Then we're going to pull that down in the middle. I'm not the greatest, but I can get you where you need to be, if that makes sense. Because you want it nice and level, you know? Some of them will have apexes, some of them won't. Oop. Did you see what my finger did? Ugh, I hate this part. I am not good at my apex at all, and I just get it all over myself, which is not great. So you always want to keep that off the cuticle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it. I'm going to flatten it away from the cuticle, which I shouldn't have to do, but sometimes it is what it is. I am no good at apexes, but my cuticle needs work, y'all. See how flat? So these ones being square are a tad bit different than like what a typical stiletto is or would be. Okay, I'm just gonna bring that down a little bit. Bring it back up. Because melting that bead is so important so you don't have a shit ton to file, guys. The only thing with mine is I really need to work on getting a better apex going on. So we're gonna put this here. And I'm gonna pull the sides down. And then we're gonna lightly pull the edges. So I can have a nice little apex of sorts. See? It's actually a really nice apex. But when you do that, you need to make sure the whole nail is even. Because if it's not, it's going to look goofy. So you want to pull this up, melt that in really lightly into the bead that you just did. And we want to bring that up. See that? Nice. You don't want to flatten that out, so you're just going to pat down. And then take your brush lightly over that. See? And you're gonna have to kind of look at it from like angle to angle, right? And it sometimes, if you don't get these right, y'all, they look goofy. Like if you do not get this like middle part, I'm serious, it will look goofy as hell. And we want that to be even. Oh, some of it, but we did it. It's fine. It rolled back over on itself. Oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. Much better. I can't believe I just did that. Holy shnikes. I lost my powder, guys. All over there. Now make sure your brush is clean. Oh, thank you. Hi, Max. Party hat. Oh, I feel like that's how it goes. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay. Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's gonna look banging. You know? It's gonna look so good. Alright, one thing you want to make sure is you want to make sure you have a good amount of monomer. I do not have enough in here, so I'm going to do the last of my monomer, and I have to make it last. I got 3 nails to do. Oh no. Okay, we're officially out of Zule monomer. No! Guys. What the hell? What part is your favorite part about doing, like, nails? Like, what's your favorite shape to do? Anybody? Mine is stiletto. I love doing stiletto. So when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're bringing this to the center. Then you're moving it down. Clean that brush. And then move it up. Dude, these are gonna be so good. Oh my gosh. So I think what's gonna happen tonight, guys, is I'm gonna clear cap these and then we'll come back tomorrow and finish them out. I'm just gonna clear cap them unless you guys don't want to see the filing process. If you don't want to see the filing process, I totally get it. That's okay. Just have to let me know exactly what you want to do. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be on here this long, but I am. But that's okay. I definitely hope that a lot of these are satisfying, because most of the time I just want to take a bit off someone's day, you know what I mean? Okay, we're going to come around here, wet our brush again, flatten this part out, and then we're going to bring it down, bring it right over that Humpty Hump. Short square. Ooh. I'm not really a short person. A short person? What the hell am I even saying? Short, like, nail person? But I do... Oh my god, I just did it. I just did it. This right here is what makes my heart go, like... And I am not even joking. Like, it seriously just is like, I don't know. When you just know this is what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, you just know that you're... Alright, hold up, y'all. It's so weird when my nails are, like, flat on the outside. It is the weirdest thing when they're, like, square here, but the other ones aren't. I got it up on my thing. Okay, we need this to be in the center. So we're going to pull the middle of that down. And then we're going to bring it up. That's what you want. Nice. Coming down. Like, I feel like I'm good, but like at the same time there are a lot that I'm like, oh, I need to work on this, you know? Especially right there, like, who does that? I mean, but I think there's quite a bit that a lot of us are like, we need to work on, and so I gotta fill this little part in right there. I will probably go over it with the file, but we're doing construction. Okay, that's absolutely going to get filed off, but I at least got the structure there. So that way nothing's going to happen to it. The top is good. Alright, the only thing I'm going to do is add one right here. So we're going to take this guy, blend that down, but keep the majority of it right here. So we're going to blend that baby up. And I'm going to smash it in. And then pull. Yeah. And then that way. Now, when you're going to file these, you guys, basically the filing process is going to eliminate a lot of any lines that you have on here, but you can still see them if you're not careful. If you're not like super careful with it, you will be able to still see that part of the line or whatever. So I have found that like when it's really warm in here, that is when my nail decides that, you see how it goes, you don't want that. So your bead needs to be drier, but I'm so scared because I don't want my bead to be that dry, but we need it to be nice and plump. There we go. See that? Do you see what I mean now by the structure of like here to here? Can you guys see that? You know what I mean? I barely pushed on it and I just kind of melted that down. And now it's not like, you know what I mean? So I know when I'm filing that, I know I'm good in terms it is not going to break. So I will have to take these corners in on this one. This one's good, dude. I will barely have to file that one. I'll have to file the corners here and the sides, but these right here, I don't think I'm going to have to file very much. I love you guys. Damn, there's still people in here? Hi. And then you want to make sure you guys are not adding bubbles to the nail. So you want to get all the bubbles you can out of your brush before you like go in and put your clear on your nail. And by doing that, it helps to eliminate a dry bead. But to me, this is super satisfying. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that the kitty and the bunny are acquainted with each other. And the bunny isn't, like, scared of the cat at all. It's just, like, when the cat moves fast, the bunny is. But other than that, it doesn't care. It doesn't actually care that the cat is in the room or anything like that. The cat doesn't try to go after him either. So I thought that was, like, the coolest thing ever. The fact that I have a cat that doesn't want to eat a bunny. You know? That's, like, the coolest thing ever. Yeah, also, shout out to the ladies that can do, like, one, like, thing all the way down the nail. That shit is hard, you know? Like, it really is hard. Now, you want to make sure you're using the body of your brush. Like, I have square, what is it called? Square stiletto or whatever. So you want to use the body of your brush to get it nice and pointy like that. So when you go to file, you don't have so much to do, and then you don't cut your actual shape off, if that makes sense. Because sometimes people will, I've done that, sometimes people will cut that shape off, and then you're like, no! So I'm just lightly pulling that down over that glitter so it saturates the whole side. That's looking really nice right here. In through here is looking really nice. But when you have stilettos like this, you have to look at it from every angle, basically. You got to look at it from this angle, this angle, this angle. Because see, I have a dip right here on this side, but I can't see it from this side, really. You know? So, that is why you got to do that. So, I'll worry about the dip in just a minute. Let's get the top of this on. But I have improved a lot on a lot of my skills. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I have, like, not like a... How do I want to say that? I don't know. I guess a lot happened this year, so I was kind of like... I don't know. I was still stuck in this, like... Not really a struggle either. It was just more or less like so much going on. You know what I mean? But God, am I grateful to be able to do this and to be able to be home with my kids, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like stupid grateful. Because I never thought in a million years I'd be able to do this. So it's kind of like one of those... I am so grateful, but like at the same time, it's like I don't ever want to take it for granted, you know? Like, I never want to take it for granted. And I feel like on days that I'm like sick or something, you know what I mean? I feel bad because I'm like, okay, I'm not live, you know? But a lot of the times, like if I'm sick, I can't really go live, but yeah. I'm not trying to make excuses either, so. And I don't like to really talk about it with a lot of people because, you know, people are crazy. So I'm spinning my brush along that apex. I saw somebody do that and I was like, I could absolutely do that. This is like my love right here, y'all. I definitely want to do a bit better on like my end cap and stuff. Had a little hole right there. Alright. So I think we need this little bit at the end and then I would say one thing you don't want is you don't want this part to go upward. And you can file it all you want, but it's still going to slant upward if you're not careful. Just like I need more there. And you don't want to keep adding either. I'm just going to lightly pull. There we go. There we go. Now I feel better. Okay. Make sure you check all your sides too. Because like with these, you can only see basically one side. And I'm just going to make sure. I take this down wet and I just fill in if there's like a little bubble somewhere or something, like a little hole that maybe I forgot, and that'll fill in any type of hole you may have. Alrighty, dude. I am officially out of Zule monomer, guys. Damn it. Good thing payday's around the corner. So I'm gonna have to use my young nails, and I don't know how good it's going to be. Yeah, excelling up, that's for sure. So I'm gonna try to use this. I'm gonna clean my brush first. Sandra and them said that they could work with her powder. Oh shit. They could work with her powder, so let's try it. That actually isn't bad. Wow. It's filling in those areas nicely. What the heck? This whole time I'm freaking out because I thought I couldn't use her stuff with young nails. I don't know. I feel like having something that's like super therapeutic, but at the same time, like, I want to talk about stuff that relates to myself, but it's like, what am I giving to people who are gonna actually give a shit on what I'm actually talking about? You know what I mean? And it's like, do people really want to hear about that? Like your origin story and all that kind of stuff? You guys will have to let me know if you like that kind of stuff. I mean, I know I like it when I'm watching people. It would be nice to know more about them, you know? Versus just, you know, watching somebody, especially if you're new. Especially, like, if you don't really know much about them, but, like, you like their work, and their work is bomb as fuck. Like, I support people when I watch somebody new, if, like, their personality, maybe say they're a little quiet, but their work is fucking amazing, I will still subscribe to that person and watch their stuff. Because their art is, like, either sounds, like, really therapeutic, or maybe I want to learn how to do that. You know what I mean? And I was just thinking, like, see that apex? That's a good apex right there. Really good apex. So we are definitely going to need to continue to do our cuticle work, and work on our cuticle beads so we don't get so far up the nails, you know what I mean? Because I definitely need to, like, I have to put that inside this little area right here because I forgot a whole huge chunk of my nail, and I want it to be not lopsided, so some of it's gonna look clear and some of it's not. So we're gonna pat that guy in. I would say I did a lot better on this cuticle job than I did the other one, so I'm definitely going to take that excess off. Ooh, that would not have been good. Like, sometimes, typically, I'll get like these little feelings about, like, when I go live. And some days, if it's such a feeling that, like, my body's like, nope. You know what I mean? Like, my body knows when it's a good one, you know what I mean? Not when it's a good or a bad, but when it's, like, not going to be healthy for me, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like my body knows, so it'll tell me, and then I'll ignore it. Does that make sense? I'll sit there and ignore it, and then it'll basically tell me, told ya. You know what I mean? Do you guys have that issue ever? Okay, I'm gonna walk this. Okay. Well, I actually like my monomer with her acrylics. They're actually really nice. Okay, we'll put this bead here because we need some more structure. And then I'm going to lightly pull down and then pull back up so we don't have like any boomerangs, I guess. But yeah, we need to make it all even down the nail. I do see a lot of people that don't blend their beads in, and so you get like that line I was talking about, and then they get mad and frustrated because they're not blending that bead in, so they don't see that line anymore, which it takes a minute to get used to. You know what I mean? But just remember, you have to blend that bead. So I'm just making sure I'm bringing so I have my apex right there. Alright, I have to bring this guy up and fill in that little area. Take this excess. That looks great. Obviously, we're that, but this part right here looks good. But on this side, I feel like I ain't got none. I would say that's about the only bad thing. Oh, hi, Sandra. Happy Mother's Day. I'm sorry. Jeremy, hello. Thank you. I just wanted like a really loud moment of this is what you're doing. Like, this is you. But the side profile, these will be good once I file them. I'm just freaking out because I have this like area and I need it to be I don't even know if you guys can see that, but I can see it. Obviously, I'm going to file this, but I have like a dip right here. So I don't know how to get it to not be a dip. Oh, there we go. Got it. Oh, I got it. Okay, your girl got it. Woo! I thought I wasn't gonna get that one. Goodness. We did it. They're flat, but we did it. I think this one really needs like just like one more bead right here. We're gonna bring that down. And then I'm going to add one right here, and then that'll be it, and I know I'm good. These are nowhere near as heavy as the ones I had on the other day. The ones I did before, oh my gosh, you guys, they were so heavy. Maybe it's because it was square, and I was just like, no. You know? I don't know. Okay. There we go. Alright, we're going to do a small cuticle bead. So, I'm not going to be doing the shaping and stuff tonight. Shit. But I am going to... We'll do that tomorrow. So, we'll do the final touches, final look tomorrow. Please, if you're new, don't ever do this. Okay, I'm gonna pat that in. But I feel like I just wanted something that I didn't have to do anything to besides file, shape, and buff. And they were like their own real estate. You know what I mean? Like, it was prime real estate on the nails, you know? That way it had a mind of its own, you know? There we go. Nice. There we go. They are all filled in. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm going to let them dry. Make sure I got all the way around. I did. Alrighty, dighty. I spilled half my Zulay powder all over. So, I only have half of a jar now. No worries. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, ma'am. I always make sure to post. Every live I have will be posted. Isn't that right, guys? We are done ski though. Thank you for hanging out with me. But I just got them all done. The only thing I think is I'm gonna actually just add this top part here because I have like this little indent where you guys, I can't say thank you enough. Okay, we just need this little, there we go. There we go. I definitely gotta load. I definitely need to clean my brush more, and I definitely need to figure out how to not get this shit all over me, you know? I watched somebody go around and go through, and I accidentally just put my brush right up inside that. I should be able to get those lines out. I should. Yeah. Alright. I just kind of was like, why? I think this was probably the worst. I think I did better yesterday than today as far as my clear capping, even though I got it everywhere. I'm just cleaning this off with my monomer here. Even though you're cleaning this off, guys, you don't always get it off because it's kind of dried to your skin. So you really need to pay attention and clean that up after your stuff dries. Just so you know. Alright. They are golden. This is deja vu right here, guys. Like, what? I'm so, like, holy shnikes. Alright. How did your Mother's Day go, guys? Thanks for GLAM, Cola, Savvy. Oh, Christina. Thank you, guys. Sandra, I love you. Black Dragon. Like, sometimes I get really good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah. I get really good at my ending result. And not getting it all over myself and all that. And people can, you know, it's just like, one of these days I'll be able to do it. I know I can do it. I've done it plenty of times. Okay, let's let her dry. Put our little lid on this mofo. Alright. Alright, guys, that is it for tonight. Got that and that. What do you guys think? Do you like the colors? I definitely think this is one for the books. I'll have to show you guys a picture of these with the ones I did last year so you can kind of see the difference in the two. Because they're definitely different, but I did do like a little unicorn look at one point or another. And so, yeah. I definitely feel like I need like a dip right here or something right here. But maybe I can like put something, I don't know. It looks fine, but it looks like I need one more right there. But I'm not going to do it. Okay. Anyway. Shit. I almost took this right off of my hand. Now it's stuck on there. Can you imagine that? Anyway. Thanks for coming along on my little Mother's Day brain creativity of I need to do this now. Because it was literally like one of them things where it was like, you know what? Today's my day. I need to do a set that was like me all the way. I don't care what it is other than it's got to be like rainbow and everything great. But thank you for coming out. Thank you to my members, my new members. Shout out to my new members. Woohoo! Shout out to Black Dragon and Christina. If you guys want to become a member, we're doing some cool ass shit coming up. So, check it out. Become a member. It usually isn't like this, but I'm doing some new shit. So, you want to become part of it? Cool. If not, you still want to subscribe? That's cool too. Because we don't discriminate over here. Alright, there they are, everybody. I love them. I freaking love them so much. And the fact that these are all the colors, I made them myself. And they are just fucking beautiful, dude. Like, tell me that ain't the coolest. Like, these nails are my favorite. Look at that. What? But come back tomorrow at 11:11 a.m. and we will file, buff, and put our glossy top coat on so that way we can see these badassery of the nails, okay? Thank you for hanging with me, everybody. Thank you, Josh. And thank you, GLAM, Sandra, everybody. I love you guys. Shout out to my members. Y'all are amazing. Make sure you like and subscribe and be here tomorrow or be square. 11:11 a.m. EST time. Love you. Bye. Make sure you hype and all that shit too. And let me know what you guys thought and which nails you fave. Okay? Okay. Toodaloo. Love you. Bye. Happy Mother's Day to all. Even fur baby mommies.